Hey, Anthony.
Hey, Mavis. So great to be here.
Oh, I'm just honored to be here.
Well,
And
I'm honored. I mean, you're here.
Thank you.
I want to just, obviously, we're here to talk about your new album, One True Vine. And one thing I remember, when the Staple Singers made a record in 1984 and you covered the Talking Heads song Slippery People, I interviewed you back then. I'm sure
Yes.
you don't remember.
Okay.
I remember very well. And you went through the lyrics of that song and you just blew my mind. I mean, you discussed it and you brought all of these kind of biblical associations to it. It was so deep. And I wanted to ask you just about the idea of One True Vine and that song and those lyrics and that title for your new record. What's the meaning of that for you?
It's just a blessing that I'm still here. Slippery people, One True Vine, slippery people. I love those guys. Them talking heads. But then that guy, I just have to tell you, he wouldn't talk to us girls. He wouldn't. He just talked with pops.
Oh, is that true,
Yeah,
David Byrne?
Jim Byrne, yeah. But One True Vine is a song that it's song that reminds me that I made it. I'm still here, And I think the first lyrics in it is I was last in line, but I made it over. I had an angel watching out for me and pulled me on through. I'd done my worst. I was dead at first. I had done my worst. And here I am. My One True Vine brought me through. I was the last in line. And I'm grateful I'm still here. It's a song that's very emotional. The lyrics that Jeff Tweedy put in that song, I looked at it and I said, Tweedy, where you going? He's such a good writer. You can't just jump off and sing a Tweedy song. He comes from almost another world, But I'm grateful that he thinks that I can deliver his lyrics, And I'm grateful that he write them for me because it's a whole new venture for me. It's challenging, and it keeps you alive, to keep doing something different. So I give him a lot of credit for his writing. I never asked him, and I never ask him what any of his songs mean. I just take them for what I think they mean.
Yes.
And sing it the way I feel and from my heart.
Well, now you mentioned Jeff Tweedy. Obviously, you've been working with him now for the second record.
Yes.
You Are Not Alone was a very successful album.
Yes, it was.
Grammy Award winning.
Yes.
And now you've done another record with him. Talk a little bit about when he first approached you, and what your ideas about him were, and what the collaboration is like. How do you guys work together?
Mm-hmm. In 2006, both of us live in Chicago. Tweedy's on the north side, I live on the south side. And we happened to be doing a concert at a little funky club on the north side of Chicago, the Hideout. And Jeff Tweedy came to the dressing room, introduced himself. Wilco, my manager, was there. He said, "Mavis, this is Jeff Tweedy from Wilco." And I knew them. I had heard them. In fact, I had the CD, Sky Blue Sky. And so I liked their music because they reminded me so much of the band, And
Perfect, yeah.
Yeah, I met him. I was glad to meet him. He went down to in fact, the entire Wilco band came to that concert. We go downstairs and we do the concert. Afterwards, Tweedy came backstage and complimented us on the show, and we laughed and talked a bit and took some pictures, and that was it. About 3 weeks later, my manager called and said, "Mavis, Jeff Tweedy wants to produce your next CD." I said, "Oh, really? Well, what is Jeff Tweedy? I mean, he's such a youngster, but that didn't mean anything either because I've had younger producers, than Tweedy. But I just, it's a rock star. They're rocksters, And he said, yeah, he wants to be. I said, well, I tell you, Dave, I have to talk with him. I have to meet. I met him backstage at the Hideout, but I need to maybe we can have lunch, and sit down and I get to know him.
Yeah.
All right, I called this lunch. I made it on the south side where I live. And when he came, a lot of people are leery of the south side.
Yeah, I
you
know
come
that.
from the north
Yes,
side to
indeed.
the south side, you better watch your back, so when he came in the restaurant, he eased in, and my sister Yvonne and I are sitting there, and I say, Yvonne, that's Jeff Tweedy, and I'm waiting for him to come on.
I imagine it wouldn't have been too hard to recognize him in that restaurant. Yeah.
Oh yes, it was. It wasn't. But this was in Hyde Park.
Yeah.
I went to Hyde Park.
I see.
So, and I didn't go too deep into Hyde Park because all the colleges are over there, University of Chicago, and I didn't want him to be mobbed. I knew those college kids would have known him, but when he sat down. He just sat down. He didn't say anything. Hi, Mavis. Hi, Yvonne. And he just looked around a while, and we looked. And I said, "No, is he shy? Is he gonna talk? I mean, he talk him up in the Hideout. He was all happy and smiling, but he was very. I cracked a little joke. I can't remember what the joke was that broke up everything, made him laugh. We laughed, and he said, well, I said, well, do you know us? Do you know this thing? How long have you listened to it? Oh, Mavis, I've known the Staples singers for years. When he was a teenager, he worked at a record shop. And he said, I'd had access to all of the Staples music from the 50s and 60s. And I've listened to that's all I would listen to. He talked about Pops. He let me into his life. I told him a lot of stuff about us, and all of a sudden Jeff Tweedy got to talking about family, and my ears just perked up, Pops was always instilling family into us. Family is the strongest unit in the world. You all stick with your family, nobody can ever break you. And he started talking and my wife and my kids and his mother, and he has a twang when he talks,
Yes.
and I can't help but
Imitate
mock
him. I'm enjoying it a great deal.
Yeah. So I tell you, Anthony, when we left that restaurant, we talked for almost 3 hours, and I felt like I knew Jeff Tweedy I felt like we could make really good music together, because he's humble, and I asked him. I said, why do you think you want to produce me? Mavis, I don't think I want to produce you. He said, I've listened to your music for years. And when I heard the concert at the Hideout, I could just see you at the microphone at the loft. I said, well, all right, I'll be in touch, Tweedy. We'll be in touch. Let's get out of here. And we left the restaurant, and I let my manager know that I would think I'd feel comfortable with him producing me. And I tell you, the first time we got together, it was after we had that meeting. The next meeting, I had to go to the north side. I went to the loft. And this was the meeting.
The loft being his studio,
His
right?
studio, yeah, the Wilco loft. Yeah.
Yes.
This was the meeting for us to get together on what we wanted to do. The songs. And then I let him know, I said, look, you're going to have to work with me. I don't know what key I sing in. I still don't know what key I sing in. My father passed. and where Pops, Pops would hit the guitar and know where to sing. But I sing from ear. And so I told him, I said, I can't tell you what key I sing in. So you're going to have to work with me so we started this list of songs. And I said, oh, that's good. Let's do that. old songs. He come with some. I said, Tweedy, you are a young man with an old soul. You know, he loves and as he loved the old songs from way back when I was a child. A lot of them, and so. We started getting these keys, and I tell him, well, that's too high. Let's bring it down, bring it down. He bring it down and be right on time. I said, what key is that? He said, oh, maybe that's G, wherever, But we worked together and got us a barrel of songs. We got this session started, and he heard the band. Rick Holmstrom and Jeff Termes and Soul Patrol, I call him Soul Patrol, Stephen Hodges. They were playing that night at the at the Hideout. And he said, Mavis, do you think that band will play for the record? I said, yeah. Then he said, I think that's the band that needs to play for your record. And so that was just beautiful for me. The band, we knew each other. They knew me. Rick Holmstrom, he had been checking Pops out even before they started playing for us. And he started hitting some licks, Pop Staples licks. I'd have to look around, boy, would you just Pops back there? He's so really up on that. So now I call him Pops Jr. And I'll stop talking and let you ask him.
This is the easiest interview I've ever done. I'm enjoying it tremendously. One of the things about One True Vine is that, you've got a song by Funkadelic on there. You've got a song by the band Low on there. You got a song that Nick Lowe wrote for you on there. You're covering such a wide range of stuff, and obviously, there's your material, stuff you and Jeff wrote, and talk a little bit, because it all comes out like through you, and that's the kind of unifying thing. And it's, I've heard you talk a bit about, people ask you about, the difference between, what is sacred music and what is, like popular music. And, you talk about the message and what you bring, and some of the things that are in those pop songs are as deep as what's in a gospel song.
Right.
And the gospel songs certainly rock as hard as anything that's right. It's on the radio, Can you just talk a little bit about, just singing that range of things and finding your way into it?
The Staples singers, we started singing strictly gospel. And as time went on, we started working with Dr. King. We joined the movement. We would write the freedom songs for the movement. We would march. And actually, we'd sing before Dr. King would speak. He had a favorite song. He'd tell Pops every night, now, Stape, you're going to sing my song tonight, right? Pops said, oh, yeah, doctor, we're going to sing your song. And that was Why Am I Treated So Bad? But as time went on, we wanted our message to be heard. We gospel singing, strictly gospel was fine. Gospel music back then was only played like 5 o'clock in the morning when everybody was still in bed, And we started being invited to folk festivals and jazz festivals, every category of music we were in. So Pop said, listen, you all, we first heard Bob Dylan. Bob Dylan was saying, we were on this television show together, and we was on the side talking, and Pop said, wait a minute, y'all listen to what that kid is saying. And he was saying, how many roads must a man walk down before you can call him a man? And Pops could literally, live that song. He'd tell us stories about there were times when he was a boy in Mississippi. If he was walking on the sidewalk and a white man started coming towards him on that same side of the street, he'd have to cross over. So we went home, we got Dylan's records, and we learned that song. From that, it just snowballed. We were singing message songs, and we heard, for what it's worth, something's happening here. What it is ain't exactly clear. And Pop said, these songs, these are gospel. We can sing these. We're not getting far away from our gospel, but we need to start singing these songs that will be played on the radio, that people can be heard. They can be heard, and people will hear our music to where we can do some good. You know, we were singing songs of inspiration, singing songs with positive messages to inspire you to keep getting up, motivate you, you know, give you a reason to get up in the morning.
Respect yourself.
Respect yourself. You know, I'll take you there. We got put out of church for singing I'll Take You There because, yeah, it went across the board. And time they would start playing it, everybody would hit the floor dancing. So the people said, well, the Staples singers singing the devil's music, you know, and they didn't want us in church. And we had to do so many interviews. I do interviews, I tell people, listen, the devil ain't got no music. All music is God's music. We're telling you, I know a place, ain't nobody crying, ain't nobody worried, ain't no smiling faces lying to the races. Where could we be taking you but to heaven? And after I said, you have to listen to our lyrics. Just because people are dancing on that beat, you know, bum, 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 you know. So after that, we were invited back to church. The very first song that was requested, I'll Take You There, right in the pulpit, you know. So we just try to sing what needs to be. You know, Pops would start telling songwriters, if you want to write for the Staples, read the headline. We want to sing about what's happening in the world today. If there's something happening that needs fixing, we want to try to sing a song that might help fix it.
Well, you know, before we open the floor to questions, I just want to ask you one last. I mean, God, I could talk to you all night, but I wanted to ask about Pop Staples. You know, I mean, obviously, your father, the founder of the Staples Singers, you know, a visionary in every regard, you know, an amazing songwriter, musical arranger, an astonishing guitar player, hugely influential, and, you know, evidently a pretty good dad, too.
He was a good dad.
Could you talk to him just a little bit about, tell us a little bit about what Pop Staples was like?
Yes, well, Pops was a hands-on Pops. He was hands-on dad, you know. He he would take us kids to the movies on Saturdays and take us to Sunday school on Sunday morning. Then he would play with us all the time. You know, he'd make us popcorn balls. He'd make us candy, peanut brittle. And and my mother, she just let him have us. You know, he
I'm sure she was delighted. Yeah.
Yeah, she was grateful, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
But we were always with Pops. And Pops, you know, and before we started singing, he was a construction worker in Chicago. And he'd take us riding after we get out of Sunday school. He'd take us riding in the car, and he'd point to buildings and tell us, I put a many bricks on that building. I put bricks on that, you know, buildings that are in Chicago. And so Pops, we just stayed with our father. He took care of us a lot. And when I was about 7 years old, Mom, she worked nights, Pops worked days, and Pops was keeping us. Well, for a while, my Aunt Katie lived with us. So when he was singing with an all-male group, the Trumpet Jubilees. And these guys wouldn't come to rehearsal. Pops would go to rehearsal one week, he'd come back home, discuss it. He'd go another time, come back home, discuss. This last time he went to rehearsal, the guys, 2 or 3 there, you know, he came home, he went straight to the closet where he had a little guitar that he bought at the pawn shop. And he called us children into the living room, set us on the floor in a circle, and began to give us voices to sing that he and his sisters and brothers would sing when they were in Mississippi. And he'd give us these, and we sing. One night, my Aunt Katie came through. She said, shucks, y'all sound pretty good. I believe I want y'all to sing at my church Sunday. And we jumped up. We were so happy we were going to sing someplace other than on the living room floor. So we go to Aunt Katie's church, and we sang this song. The people clapped us back. We didn't know. Some people had to, they want you again, baby. Get up. They clapping you back. So we sang that song again. They clapped some more. You know, we sang the same song 3 times. You know, it was the only song that Pops had taught us all the way through. So Pops says, shucks, these people like us. We're going home and learn some more songs. And the rest is history. We've been going ever since. Ever
Perfect.
since. Yeah.
Perfect.
My father, Pop Staples.
Well, we'd love to have some questions from all of you. Thanks for coming out on such a rainy night, but what better reason to be here? Do we have any questions?
Mavis, I just wanted to say hello to you. I'm Susan. We filmed you for Women Who Rock 2 years ago.
Oh,
That was
hi.
on PBS. We're
Hi,
your biggest
Susan.
fans. So this was spectacular. I live around the corner. I just walked in, and here you are.
Oh,
so
thank you for
so
coming out.
much for
It's good to
sharing
see
this with
you.
us. Good to see you, too.
All right. Love you.
I was just wondering if there's like a story or maybe a memory that you could share with us from the Watt Stax concert, because it's, to me, it's like, I don't know, it's one of the maybe, if not the most soulful day this earth has ever seen.
That was a good day. You know, and we almost didn't make it. We were working in the Sands Hotel. We were opening for Sammy Davis Jr. at the Sands Motel in Las Vegas. And so this particular day, for what's that, Pops had told Al Bell and everybody at Stax we couldn't be there because we had to be at the Sands. And that night, the next morning, Pops find out that Sammy Davis has shut the show down for that night. He was going to Washington. You know, I don't know if you remember the big hug. Sammy Davis Jr. and Nixon.
Yeah, yes, indeed.
That's what they.
That's where he was going.
That's where he went to.
And that's why you went to watch.
And we
That's
went to watch
fantastic.
Stax. Yeah. Yeah, we went to watch Stax. That picture was all over the place on the front page. Nixon and Sammy Davis hugging, and we had watched Stax rocking. You know, we Pops called Al Bell and said, "Man, we can make it. We can make it." We got there and said, "You all get your stuff. We're going to California." Got in the car. If you notice at the beginning of the movie, we're in the car eating. We hadn't had anything. We jumped in the car. We went to watch that. We sang our songs. We enjoyed the show. We stayed. We saw Rufus Thomas and everybody. You know.
Oh, yeah.
But we had to get right back because the next day we had to open again for Sammy. But that's the only way we made it to watch Stax. And that was a great day. That's a day I'll never forget. That was the most people that we had ever sang. 100,000. That stadium was full. And that was the most people we had ever sang in front of. And it was just an experience. It was quite an experience that I'll never forget. I'm so glad they made a DVD of it so we can see it over and over and over, you know.
That's
Yeah.
a great story.
Thank you. Hi, Mavis.
Hi.
My name is William. Thank you so much again for your time, your generosity,
Oh, my
and your
pleasure.
music.
No problem.
You know, your music definitely has never failed to uplift me many a times in my life, especially during the hard times and the busy times and the rainy days.
Wonderful. Thank you.
And so, I definitely think one of the things that is remarkable about the music you produce is the message as well as just your soul. And I definitely always feel your heart and soul.
Yes.
And I have two questions. One, what is the message that we can expect to hear from One True Vine? And two, what goes through your mind when you're performing and singing?
You know, the message you can expect from One True Vine is actually what we've been telling you down through the years. You know, stay on a positive train, hold your head up. If you fall down, get up, dust off, keep going. You know, it's the same positive and informative message that we've been the staple singers. That's us. And your next question was, what do I feel? You know, Pops taught me years ago, Mavis, you don't need no gimmicks. You don't need to clown. You don't need to sing at the top of your voice. You sing from your heart. If you sing from your heart, you'll reach the people. What comes from the heart reaches the heart. And that's what I feel. When I go on stage, I want to reach somebody. I want to touch somebody. You know, I feel like if I can reach just one, then my living has not been in vain. You know, that's what I live for, is the people. That's what's keeping me. You see, I'm not no spring chicken. And that's the people are what's keeping me going. You know, I live to sing for my fans and the people that come out to see us. But I feel, when each song, I have a different feeling. It depends on what I'm singing. Sometimes I get so happy, I start creating different stuff on stage that I never said before, So it's a good feeling. That's the best I can tell you, is that I get a good feeling because I'm so happy when I'm singing. That's all I know to do.
Hi, good evening. I love how you can bring the healing feeling of the spiritual tradition to songs that aren't of that tradition. But I'm wondering, what are your favorite spirituals?
Oh, well, for one, Will the Circle Be Unbroken? It's got to be. That was the very first song our Father taught us. Will the Circle Be Unbroken? And I love Precious Lord, Take My Hand. The songs that I would hear when I was a child. I would go to church with my grandmother, and I heard songs that my grandmother's church was the little wooden church that we talk about up on a hill, and she lived in Mount Bio, Mississippi. We would walk the highway down the gravel road from Mount Bio to Marigold, Mississippi, which was maybe about 4 or 5 miles, every Wednesday, every Friday, and every Sunday. And this church was just a wooden floors, wooden benches, no organ, no piano. It's the best sound I've ever heard in my life. And I'll never forget it. They would sing slow. One song they would sing is on One True Vine. And that is, what are they doing in heaven today? Sin and sorrow all done away. Peace said by like a river, they say. What are they doing there now? And those are songs that I love. And I don't need a hand for that. Sometimes I can't help it. When you ask me a question about a song, I got to give you a little bit of it.
Hi, Mavis.
Hi.
Thank you for your music.
Thank you.
Do you remember the first time you heard, like, Sister Rosetta Tharpe or, Mahalia Jackson? Was there some sort of a lightning bolt that happened? I mean, can
Oh,
you
my
talk about
God.
that? Do you remember what song it was? Or
Yes, indeed. I remember very well. And I tell you, I remember Sister Rosetta Tharpe, and our Sister Mahalia Jackson was the very first female that I heard sing a song. And I tell you, I was a child, about 8 years old, sitting back in my little play area playing with my dolls. Pops was up in the front in the living room playing 78 records. And he was mostly playing, the Dixie Hummingbirds, the Soul Stirrers, the Blind Boys, all male groups. All of a sudden I heard this lady's voice. And I rose up, I moseyed on off into the living room where Pops was, and I sit on the floor, and Pops tells me, he said, Mavis, you were just rocking. I said, Daddy, who was that? He said, that's Sister Mahalia Jackson. You like that, don't you? I said, yes, sir, I like that. And Pops had to play Sister Mahalia for me just about every day. And he'd always tell me, Mavis, don't you mess with my record. I'll play Sister Mahalia Jackson when I come back. But that was, and my experience with Sister Haley, the best thing, he came in one day from work. He said, Mavis, guess what? I said, what, Daddy? He said, they want us to open up for Sister Mahalia Jackson down at Tabernacle Baptist Church on Monday night. And man, I tell you, my little heart felt like it was coming out of my chest. It's a long story. I won't tell you no more. But I finally met her. And we became really close. She became real close with my mother. She taught me how to take care of my voice. My Sister Mahalia Jackson. I'll never forget it. That's why the voice is still going strong, Rick.
Absolutely.
Thank you for that question.
Mavis, I mean, God, it's so moving just listening to you, and I really am just so thrilled to be here tonight. Thanks so
Anthony,
much.
Anthony.
Oh, my goodness.
You're the best.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.